So this one you wonder if it's an advertisement, if there's a broader message. Looks like a lot of garbage floating. You wonder what the drill means, if not literal. And then what does the deluxe add to it? It's Tuesday morning, about 8:15, on my way out of Athens by bus to Nafplio. And from there, the great city of Mycenae, ancient city, 1,000 years before the Acropolis was built. Mycenae ruled. The outskirts of Athens gets a little bit prettier than just green, otherwise it's just not. This looks like a huge park and a bike path maybe through there. There's a slight bit of aesthetic novelty stands out. This is some kind of a cement plant, but I could be wrong. The area to the west of Athens is a huge industrial area on a huge bay of its own. You see it there, filled with large ocean-going ships. See back in there. And when I went to Hydra, there was a line of these ships coming perpendicular from the shore, but at a bay quite a ways from where my ship left, Piraeus, the tourist cruise ship bay. It's amazing how much traffic this toll area anticipates. That's a huge refinery complex over there. See all the boats that you can see, or the ship you can see, and there are far more to the left. It's a huge protected bay. Several tanker ships in it. Pretty huge operation, it looks like. Doesn't look like a pipeline, so I don't know. Another one to the left. Sure looks like a fortress, doesn't it? It is. Whether that's Mycenae or not, I don't know. Got off the bus, walked up to a car rental place and asked the man if he could help me find a room if he knew of any place, and so he called someone. And he called the Byron Hotel, and they said, yes, we do. We'll be ready about 1 or 2 in a couple hours from now, so I'll go roam around town. One of the few buildings that has any style. Looks like it could even be an older style, but I don't think it is. Typifies countries in this financial state that they have lots of buildings that are unfinished, as well as abandoned. That's a nice little apartment complex there, though. I'm not sure if they have views. I'm just going to do almost a 360 pan. What a magnificent waterfront view. But you just have to wonder, will they ever have the money or the imagination not to crap it up? It really doesn't look like it. My first walk this morning was starting below that castle somewhere, I'm walking to the left and then down a street that brought me down through that area there and way on the other side, and then that street there bringing me back this way to the waterfront. And I'll cruise back up there in a few minutes. Taking sand out of the hull of this ship. Either that or some mineral, of course. So here's my little room in the Byron Hotel. Isn't this pretty? And it has actually a view of the water. Can you believe it? And this is €45. €50 if I wanted breakfast, but I don't. I always liked these when you could use them. I don't think they have them turned on this time of year, but it not only keeps the room warm, but dries the towels. Kind of a pretty view as the sun begins to set on these buildings. Not sure what this is that I'm entering. It's just down the street from my hotel, and I'm going to hike between these two little mountains, if you will, over the saddle. There's a fortress up there, and apparently there's steep steps that go up there. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go right over the saddle, hook around the right, and all the way around the town here, and come out kind of near where I was, near the port itself, and then back to the hostel. This certainly looks like some kind of, well, I'm not sure, fortress up there. Maybe these were the lower walls of the fortress. Seeing a little cupola like that on the corner, it looks pretty vulnerable to a good cannon shot if you're a soldier forced to man it. It looks pretty insubstantial. Across what might have been a moat in the day. So this appears to be the entrance to what could be a very pretty walk as the sun begins to think about setting. It's interesting to see these big cactuses just flowing down off that rocky precipice. Lots of stairways give you access to the shoreline. Certainly this side of the fortress is impregnable. Very nice walkway. And then just off this point here in the bay, an obvious installation. Hopefully that's some kind of restoration, but it looks like they put some physical plant in there. That a Pegasus tour boat apparently, or either that or somebody's special yacht. Looks more private than the other. And then we're at the square. This is on the good side of the port, for lack of a better term. pretty cool. We've seen one of those. Not terribly busy on this Tuesday night. There's the other fortress. Sometime I stay here, I'll hike up to both of these. Now that he sees he's on camera, to see some really good stuff maybe. And as the father of this boy and of the device, he invented it, and it's quite proud of that patent. He's going to try to make it so it's a little bit safer so they can stop quickly doing all the fun things they do. But he came over and chatted because he saw me videotaping it. That's fun in exchange. He spends his time in England and Cyprus apparently. Simple church but pretty with the blue coloring, the bell towers. At least they've made an effort. It's not that mordant gray stucco found on the larger churches, believe it or not, in Athens. And notice down again, looks like a mosque. Or it might have been a hammam, but more like a mosque. Nothing more entrancing than bubbles. Notice all about these two big fortresses dominate. I wonder what the thrill is in destroying something beautiful, even by kids. It's an old square, I believe. Some mildly interesting buildings. It all looks far too old. I mean, too new, 19th century, maybe 1850, the earliest or something. Although, what do I know? That building there, which is the Culture Museum, I think, might have been something else in the past, quite some time. It's a nicely restored building, if in fact it's not quite old, but I don't see dates on anything. 1974, but that may be this business. The other little church we looked at used the detail on the church as a place to apply some color that added a little bit of novelty. They seem absolutely uninspired to do that. Now, if it were Muslim, you could understand some of that. Being in Athens, it's very nice to be someplace where streets are actually pretty, even if in a very simple, straightforward way. couple of what look like older buildings and a very pretty, what remains of it, older doorway entry. It's like a half lion, half man, king type of face. Notice these side figures are animal in nature. Accommodations are nicely located next to restored fortress walls.